Premier David Eby started this year bracing against looming U.S. tariffs and economic attacks from President Donald Trump. He ends the year facing perhaps the biggest challenge of his premiership. Criticized by Indigenous leaders for threatening to walk back the NDP's reconciliation promises, criticized by business leaders and the official opposition for the uncertainty created by two court decisions the province lost. One on Aboriginal title enrichment that raises questions about private property rights. The other from the BC Court of Appeal about Indigenous consultation on mining that has led to calls to repeal the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act, or DRIPA.
I've expressed my frustration about the court judgment that came out of the Court of Appeal.
That frustration came out in a speech to the BC Chamber of Commerce, where Eby slammed what he called dramatic and unhelpful decisions that threatened to damage public support for cooperation with First Nations. Eby acknowledged that DRIPA, passed unanimously in 2019, has had unintended consequences and must be amended.
It'll make it very clear that this agreement between us and First Nations was to work together and negotiate at the table. It was not to create conflict, division, litigation, additional lawsuits. We don't always get it right. We have to pull it back and reset and go again.
First Nations leaders, including a former NDP MLA who served in cabinet alongside Eby, worry those changes could weaken the promise of First Nations consultation that the NDP enshrined in law.
If we amend these rights, we are going backwards.
Why is the Premier acting in a way that creates uncertainty? We should be standing up for First Nations.
The BC Conservatives lay the blame for the problems squarely at Eby.
In 2019, David Eby, the top law official in the province of BC, stood in the legislature and told British Columbians that we would not be seeing the situation that we're seeing today as a result of DRIPA. He was 100% wrong on that.
One pollster says the confusion over Aboriginal title and private property rights is proving to be the biggest challenge Eby has faced as Premier.
I think this is probably the most significant one because of everything that it represents.
Eby says the province is working on a plan to underwrite mortgages and offer loan guarantees for property owners in South Richmond impacted by the Cowichan Aboriginal land title decision. He says it's an interim measure while the province files its appeal. The opposition leader, however, says it's a sign of a panicked premier trying to manage the fallout. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.